Have you noticed that as the years go by, certain parts of your body don't feel quite as dependable as they used to? For many men over 50, it's not just about gray hair or slower mornings, it's about wondering why erections aren't as firm or as lasting as before. Most people immediately think the culprit must be low testosterone or poor circulation. But here's the surprising truth. Sometimes the real issue lies in a group of hidden muscles you rarely hear about, the pelvic floor. These muscles work quietly in the background, locking in blood flow and giving you the firmness and control you once took for granted. Yet, just like biceps or calves, if you don't train them, they weaken with age. The good news? You can bring them back to life with simple daily moves. No pills, no gadgets, no embarrassing doctor visits. Before we dive into the exact exercises, let me guide you step by step, first by showing why these muscles matter, then by exploring each stretch and its benefits, and finally by sharing how real men have turned things around using these methods. Think of this as more than a fitness routine. It's a roadmap back to strength, confidence, and control. So let's begin with the first key move, the foundation of everything that follows. Now, let's talk about why this matters so much. Imagine your pelvic floor as the hidden foundation of a building. You don't see it, you don't think about it, but if that foundation weakens, everything above it begins to wobble. In the same way, these muscles silently decide whether you can hold firmness, control timing, and even keep your bladder steady at night. The beauty is, you don't need expensive equipment or endless hours at the gym. All it takes is a few mindful minutes each day to awaken those muscles and remind them of their purpose. Think of it as pressing a reset button on a part of your body that most men ignore until it starts to fail them. So, how do we press that reset button? We'll start with a gentle but powerful movement that acts as the gateway exercise. It doesn't look dramatic to an observer, but internally, it wakes up the very network of muscles responsible for firmness. I call this first step the pelvic tilt, the foundation on which every other move builds. But before I explain how to do it, pause for a second and reflect. Have you ever felt that subtle loss of control, like your body just isn't listening the way it used to? This simple tilt begins to bridge that gap. It's not only an exercise, it's a way of re-establishing a conversation with your own body. Exercise number 1, pelvic tilt, awakening the hidden muscles. Let's begin with the most fundamental movement, the pelvic tilt. At first glance, it looks almost too simple, like something that couldn't possibly make a difference. But don't be fooled. What's happening inside your body during this move is like flipping a light switch in a dark room. You suddenly discover muscles you didn't even know existed. Here's how you do it. Lie on your back, bend your knees, and keep your feet comfortably apart on the floor. Let your arms rest at your sides so you feel grounded. Now, instead of rushing, just pause. Feel your breath settle, then gently draw your belly button inward, almost as if you're trying to zip up a tight pair of pants. At the same time, press your lower back into the floor, like you're ironing out the curve. Hold it for a few seconds, then slowly release. What you're really doing is retraining the communication lines between your brain, your core, and your pelvic floor. It's a kind of co-activation. Your lower abs and those hidden pelvic muscles begin to fire together, teaching your body to respond with precision instead of guesswork. Now, I know this may sound technical, but let me share a story. One man I worked with, a retired teacher in his late 60s, told me that the very first week he tried this exercise, he felt something surprising. Not a big dramatic change, but a subtle sense of switching back on. He described it as if a part of him that had gone dormant years ago suddenly woke up and said, "I'm still here." That tiny spark of awareness alone gave him more confidence than he'd had in years. The key is consistency. 10 focused tilts done daily are better than 50 sloppy ones. Over time, those small, steady holds build into strength, endurance, and most importantly, control. It's not about speed. It's about reconnecting with your body's foundation. And once that foundation is set, the next step becomes even more powerful. Exercise 2, the prone stretch, opening the door to circulation. Once you've reawakened the pelvic floor with the tilt, it's time to lengthen and open those areas that have quietly stiffened over the years. That's where the prone stretch comes in. Picture this: you're lying comfortably on your stomach, elbows resting under your shoulders as if you're about to read a book or check the morning paper. Your chest lifts slightly, your gaze stays gentle, and your breathing flows naturally. It doesn't look demanding, but inside, something remarkable is happening. This move stretches the front of your hips, an area that gets tight after decades of sitting at desks, in cars, or even on the couch. At the same time, it asks your deep core and pelvic floor to wake up and support you. Think of it as opening a window while switching on a fan. Fresh circulation moves in, and tension moves out. I remember one gentleman in his early 70s telling me that after practicing the prone stretch for just 2 weeks, his back felt looser, and even his posture improved. His wife noticed first. "You're standing taller," she said. But what mattered most to him was that the connection between his mind and his pelvic muscles felt sharper. He described it as going from a weak radio signal full of static to a clear, strong station. The beauty of this exercise isn't just the stretch. It's the balance between release and engagement. When you hold for 20 to 30 seconds, you're not just lengthening muscles, you're teaching your body how to relax and activate at the same time. That's exactly the skill you need when firmness matters most, the ability to stay strong without unnecessary tension. And here's the best part: consistency transforms it. Within weeks, men often report not only improved circulation, but also a newfound confidence in how their body responds during intimate moments. Once you've opened the door with this stretch, your body is ready for deeper coordination. That's when the next move, the kneeling ab draw in, takes center stage. Exercise 3, the kneeling ab draw in, building control from the core. Now that your hips are open and your circulation is flowing, it's time to strengthen the communication between your brain, your breath, and your pelvic floor. That's where the kneeling ab draw in comes in, a move that looks simple from the outside, but inside it rewires the system that supports firmness and control. Start on all fours in what yoga calls the tabletop position. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, back flat like a sturdy tabletop. Already, your body is aligned in a way that feels balanced and supported. Here's the magic. As you exhale slowly, draw your belly button gently toward your spine, flattening your stomach. At the same time, lift those hidden pelvic muscles as if you're lightly pulling upward inside. Hold for a few seconds, breathe steadily, then release. Repeat again, but never rush. Each repetition is a quiet dialogue with your body. Why does this matter? Because it teaches coordination. You're not only strengthening muscles, you're training them to fire in sync, exactly when you need them. It's like teaching a team to pass the ball smoothly instead of running in separate directions. One man I worked with, a grandfather in his mid-60s, told me that this move changed the way he felt about intimacy. Before, he often felt his body betrayed him by ending too soon. But after weeks of practicing the ab draw in, he found he could stay in control, delay climax, and enjoy the moment on his terms. His words were simple but powerful. "I feel like I'm the one in charge again." The beauty of this exercise is that it links movement with breathing. On the exhale, you contract. On the inhale, you relax. That rhythm trains endurance, patience, and timing, qualities that matter not just in exercise, but in life and relationships too. Start small. 10 deliberate repetitions are enough. Over time, hold the contraction longer, maybe 5 to 10 seconds, until it feels natural. You'll discover that you're not just training muscles, you're training awareness. And once you've built that inner awareness, it's time to add power. That's where the next move, the bridge abduction, takes things to another level. Exercise number 4, the bridge abduction, power and stability in motion. Up to this point, you've been reconnecting, stretching, and coordinating your pelvic muscles. Now it's time to bring in raw power and stability, the kind of strength that holds everything together when it matters most. That's the role of the bridge abduction. Here's how it works. Lie on your back, bend your knees, and place your feet firmly on the ground, about hip width apart. Press through your heels and lift your hips toward the ceiling until your body forms a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Congratulations, you're in the bridge position. But we're not done yet. While holding that position, gently push your knees outward as if you're trying to stretch the floor apart beneath you. Hold for a few seconds, then return to the center. Smooth, steady, deliberate. What makes this exercise so powerful is that it doesn't just target one muscle. It activates your pelvic floor, your glutes, the largest muscles in your body, and your hip stabilizers, all at once. Together, they create a strong, coordinated foundation for firmness and endurance. Think of it as reinforcing the beams of a house. When they're sturdy, the whole structure feels more reliable. I remember a man in his late 50s telling me that after a month of practicing this move, he not only felt stronger in intimacy, but also noticed he could walk upstairs without knee pain and sit longer without backache. He laughed and said, "I started this for the bedroom, but my whole body got the upgrade." The bridge abduction also mimics real-life conditions. You're holding firmness while moving under pressure. That functional training prepares your body for moments when stability and control must last, not just for seconds, but for as long as you choose. Start with 8 to 10 repetitions. As you grow stronger, increase to 15 or 20, or even add a resistance band above your knees for an extra challenge. The more you challenge your hips and glutes, the more support your pelvic floor will feel. And once you've built strength and stability here, it's time to finish with the most overlooked but truly transformative exercise, the one that blends strength with release, the rocking frog stretch. Exercise number 5, the rocking frog stretch, strength meets release. Now we arrive at the final move, and in many ways the most transformative of them all, the rocking frog stretch. If the previous exercises were about building strength and stability, this one is about balance, learning when to hold on and when to let go. Here's how it works. Start on all fours on a soft surface. Gently widen your knees into a V shape, turning your feet outward. As your hips sink lower, lower your upper body onto your forearms. You'll immediately feel a deep stretch in your inner thighs and groin. But here's the magic. Instead of holding still, begin to rock your hips forward and back in a slow, steady rhythm. Imagine a gentle wave moving through your pelvis. As you breathe deeply, you're not just stretching, you're teaching your pelvic floor muscles how to activate and relax in harmony. Why does this matter? Because too much tension in those hidden muscles can actually choke off blood flow, while too little strength means you can't hold firmness. The rocking frog stretch helps you find the sweet spot, strong enough to maintain control, but relaxed enough to let blood circulate freely. One man once told me this exercise felt like unlocking a door that had been stuck for years. Within weeks, he noticed stronger erections, more sensitivity, and even a deeper sense of connection with his body during intimacy. He said it wasn't just about performance, it was about feeling alive again. Stay in the stretch for 30 to 40 seconds at first, rocking gently with your breath. Repeat it 8 times, resting in between. With practice, you'll notice not only improved flexibility, but also a sense of openness, physically and mentally. It's a reminder that real strength isn't just about clenching harder, it's about knowing how to release at the right moment. When you combine this move with the other 4, you create a routine that doesn't just target one muscle or one function, it retrains your entire pelvic system. You're restoring strength, flexibility, awareness, and control all at once. So, let's step back and look at the big picture. Over the last few minutes, we've uncovered 5 simple but powerful exercises. Pelvic tilt, the foundation, reawakening hidden muscles and building awareness. Prone stretch, opening tight hips, improving circulation, and reducing tension. Kneeling ab draw in, strengthening coordination between breath, core, and pelvic floor. Bridge abduction, adding power and stability, training your body to hold firmness under pressure. Rocking frog stretch, restoring balance, teaching muscles when to contract and when to release. Together, these moves create more than a routine. They form a daily practice that can restore strength, control, and confidence. And here's the deeper truth. This isn't just about stronger erections. It's about reclaiming a sense of ownership over your body. Too often, aging is framed as a slow surrender, as if we're passengers in a vehicle that's breaking down. But what these exercises remind us is that the body is adaptable, responsive, and eager to change, even in your 50s, 60s, or 70s. Each repetition is a quiet act of self-respect. Each stretch is a message to yourself that says, I still care, I still want to feel alive, I still choose strength. And when that choice becomes a habit, it ripples into every part of your life, from how you walk, to how you sleep, to how you connect with the people you love. So here's my invitation. Don't just watch, practice. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes a day, less time than it takes to scroll through the news or check your emails. Start small, stay consistent, and track how your body responds. If this message resonated with you, share it with a friend who could use the same boost. And if you want more evidence-based guidance on men's health, be sure to like, subscribe, and join me for future videos. Because it's never too late to rebuild your foundation. Your body is ready. You just need to give it the chance.